Every man has heard these words before. Words that sound sweet, comforting, even innocent, but behind them lies a silent test. You think she's being kind, but in reality, she's checking your strength, your standards, your self-respect. And if you fail, she'll lose interest faster than you can imagine. Why women use hidden words. Today, I'll expose the 4 words women use before they play you, and more importantly, how to respond like a man, of value. Women's words are often layered with meaning, and one of the most misunderstood truths in relationships is that words reveal tests, not feelings. When a woman says something like, "I'm not ready," or "let's just be friends," many men immediately take those words at face value as rejection, loss, or emotional closure. But in reality, these phrases are often tests, not final decisions. They are ways for her to observe your emotional response, your confidence, and your ability to stay grounded under pressure. A woman's psychology is deeply connected to emotional intelligence. She doesn't always communicate directly. Instead, she watches how you respond to uncertainty. When she says, "I'm not ready," she might be saying, "Show me if you have patience or if you'll become desperate." When she says, "Let's just be friends," she might be checking whether you truly value yourself enough to walk away from a situation that doesn't serve you. These moments reveal the strength of your boundaries and your self-worth. Men who fail these tests usually do so because they attach their identity to her approval. They hear these words and instantly switch into chase mode, trying word number 1, "I'm not ready," to convince her, please her, or change her mind. But every time you try to prove your value, you silently admit you doubt it. Women sense this instantly. It communicates emotional weakness, and that weakness destroys attraction faster than rejection itself. What she truly wants to see is how you handle uncertainty. Whether you can stand firm, calm, and confident even when things aren't going your way. A high-value man doesn't argue with words. He responds with actions. When he hears, "I'm not ready," he says, "I understand," and shifts his focus back to his own life. When she says, "Let's just be friends," he respects the message and withdraws. He doesn't stay to be an emotional backup plan. His boundaries speak louder than any words could. This strength is magnetic. Women respect men who can stand alone because it shows emotional maturity and inner stability. The moment she sees that you're not shaken by her words, that your peace and direction come from within, she sees your value differently. What started as a test often turns into attraction because emotional control is power. You must understand that women test not to play games, but to seek truth. Words are her way of asking, are you the man who loses himself for love or the one who remains whole no matter what? Passing these tests isn't about manipulation. It's about authenticity. You can't fake confidence. You build it by knowing who you are and what you deserve. So the next time she uses confusing words, don't panic. Pause. Listen not just to her voice, but to the message behind it. Stay grounded because the man who understands that words reveal tests, not feelings, will never be played. He will always lead from strength, not reaction. When a woman begins to distance herself or uses phrases like, "I need space," or "let's just be friends," many men react by chasing harder, calling more, and trying to prove their worth. They believe that persistence will win her back. But in reality, this response has the opposite effect. Chasing after rejection kills respect because it shows a lack of self-control and self-worth. Respect is not earned by begging for attention. It is maintained by knowing when to walk away with dignity. When a woman pulls away, she's often observing your reaction. This moment becomes a test of emotional strength. If you panic, become needy, or try to convince her to stay, you reveal insecurity. You're telling her without words that your happiness depends on her presence. That energy is unattractive because word number 2, "let's just be friends," places her in a position of power she never asked for. Women are naturally drawn to men who can remain calm and confident even in uncertainty. Men who value themselves enough to let go when something no longer serves them. Chasing sends a message that you are seeking validation instead of connection. Instead of being a man who chooses, you become a man who waits to be chosen. And once that happens, the dynamic shifts. She stops seeing you as strong or independent. She starts seeing you as emotionally dependent. In her mind, the mystery, challenge, and excitement fade because your entire focus revolves around her approval. Attraction thrives on respect, and respect only exists when boundaries are clear. A high-value man does not chase. He aligns himself with people who value him equally. When he senses emotional distance, he takes a step back. He doesn't interpret it as rejection. He sees it as redirection. He uses that time to reflect, to focus on his goals, his peace, and his growth. This calm detachment is powerful because it communicates self-respect without needing to say a word. It tells her, I care, but I will not lose myself for love. Ironically, when you stop chasing, many women regain their respect for you. They notice your strength, your stability, and your discipline. They realize you are not controlled by emotion, but by principle. That presence, quiet, confident, and composed, is what draws genuine attraction. Even if she doesn't return, you've still won because you've chosen your dig. 90 over desperation. True love cannot exist without respect, and respect cannot exist if you sacrifice your boundaries. Every time you chase after rejection, you teach her that you are willing to accept less than you deserve. But when you walk away with grace, you show that your worth is not up for negotiation. So the next time she pulls away or says she needs space, don't chase. Breathe, stay grounded, let her go if she must, because the man who can walk away when needed is the man who commands lasting respect from her and from himself. Self-worth must be unshakable because it forms the foundation of how you respond to love, rejection, and relationships. Many men tie their value to how a woman treats them. When she shows interest, they feel worthy. When she pulls away, they feel broken. But true confidence isn't built on external approval. It comes from a deep internal belief that your worth is not dependent on someone else's choice. When you understand this, you stop reacting emotionally to rejection and start responding with strength. A woman's interest can, word number 3, you deserve better, fluctuate, her emotions can shift, and her words can change. But if your self-worth is anchored in who you are, none of that can shake your peace. You know that being rejected doesn't mean you're unworthy. It simply means you're being redirected. Rejection is often protection, a sign that someone or something is not aligned with your purpose or energy. A man with unshakable self-worth doesn't chase love. He attracts it naturally because he exudes stability and purpose. When a woman says you deserve better or begins to distance herself, a man without strong self-worth will start pleading, convincing, or proving. He'll think that by working harder he can earn her affection, but in doing so he silently communicates that her validation defines his value. That energy makes him appear needy, which instantly kills attraction. A high-value man, on the other hand, doesn't try to convince anyone to stay. He understands that love must be a choice, not a negotiation. Unshakable self-worth also changes how you carry yourself. You no longer accept inconsistent behavior, disrespect, or emotional games. You create boundaries, not from ego, but from clarity. You don't allow others to treat you in ways that contradict your values. You lead your life with purpose, and relationships become an addition to your peace, not a replacement for it. Women deeply respect men who have this kind of strength. When she sees that you're emotionally grounded, that you don't lose yourself in the pursuit of her attention, she feels safe, attracted, and intrigued. Your calm presence communicates that you know who you are and where you're going with or without her. That level of security is rare and it commands respect. Self-worth isn't arrogance, it's awareness. It's knowing that you are enough as you are while still striving to grow and evolve. It's refusing to beg for love or cling to people who don't value your energy. When you operate from this mindset, you naturally attract relationships built on mutual respect and admiration. So when rejection comes, and it will at times, stand tall, Don't see it as a loss. See it as a filter. Every no clears the path for a yes that aligns with your value, because the man who knows his worth never fears being alone. He fears losing himself trying to be accepted. Boundaries build attraction because they reflect strength, clarity, and self-respect, qualities that naturally draw others in. Many men believe that being overly available, agreeable, and endlessly giving will make a woman love them more. But in reality, that approach often leads to the opposite result. When you have no boundaries, you teach others that your time, energy, and emotions are easily accessible and not truly valued. And word number 4, I need space. What is too easily given is rarely respected. A woman feels drawn to a man who knows who he is and what he stands for. Boundaries show her that you are not desperate for approval and that you value your peace more than her attention. This communicates confidence, the most magnetic trait a man can possess. When you say no to what doesn't align with your standards, you're silently saying yes to your worth. You're telling the world, I know what I deserve and I won't settle for less. That kind of self-assurance is powerful and deeply attractive. Boundaries also create mystery and challenge. A man who gives everything too quickly removes the excitement from the connection. But when a woman realizes she cannot control or predict you, when she sees that your emotions aren't easily swayed, she becomes more intrigued. She starts to value your presence because it's earned, not assumed. Attraction thrives on polarity, the balance between giving and holding, back between openness and restraint. More importantly, boundaries protect you. They prevent emotional exhaustion and stop you from pouring into relationships that drain your energy. Without them, you'll often find yourself in one-sided situations where you give everything and receive little in return. But when you stand firm in your limits, when you know when to walk away, when to stop explaining, when to stop chasing, you maintain your dignity. That inner peace radiates strength, and strength always commands respect. A man with boundaries doesn't tolerate disrespect, inconsistency, or manipulation. He communicates clearly what he will and won't accept, and he enforces those standards through action, not argument. When someone crosses a line, he steps back. He doesn't try to fix what's broken by sacrificing himself. Instead, he chooses alignment over attachment. This emotional maturity is what sets him apart. Women test boundaries not to destroy them, but to understand who you truly are. They want to see if your words match your actions. Each test is an opportunity to demonstrate your strength. If you remain calm, firm, and respectful, you show that you're not ruled by emotion. You're guided by principle. And that's what creates lasting respect and attraction. Boundaries aren't walls that keep love out. They're gates that allow the right kind of love in. They filter out confusion, chaos, and disrespect, leaving space only for genuine connection. When you hold your boundaries, you don't lose people. You lose those who are never meant to stay. And that is the ultimate act of how to respond like a high-value man, self-love and power. Letting go gracefully and growing powerfully is one of the hardest yet most transformative lessons a man can learn. When a woman says, I need space or you deserve better, it often signals the end of a chapter. Most men, driven by emotion, respond with resistance, pleading, convincing, or clinging to what's already slipping away. But chasing someone who's walking away doesn't restore love. It destroys dignity. True strength lies in the ability to release what no longer serves you while maintaining your self-respect and peace. Letting go is not weakness, it's wisdom. It means recognizing that love cannot be forced and connection cannot be begged for. When you let someone go gracefully, you're telling the universe, I trust myself, I trust life, and I trust that what's meant for me will stay. That level of emotional maturity is rare, and it radiates power. Instead of fighting the loss, you focus on the lesson. Every ending carries wisdom. It teaches you patience, boundaries, and self-awareness. A man who can let go doesn't lose himself in his break. He allows himself to feel pain but doesn't let it define him. He uses it as fuel to rise higher, to become more disciplined, more focused, and more aligned with his purpose. The energy that was once spent chasing is redirected into self-growth. He works on his body, mind, and goals, turning pain into progress. That transformation is what creates unshakable confidence. Women deeply respect men who handle rejection or breakups with grace. It shows emotional control, the ability to stay calm and composed even when things fall apart. Instead of anger, bitterness, or blame, you respond with acceptance. You don't speak badly of her, you don't beg for closure, and you don't seek closing message, walk away with power, revenge. You simply move forward knowing that your value remains intact. That quiet strength is unforgettable. Growth, after letting go, isn't just external. It's spiritual. You begin to see relationships differently. You understand that some people come into your life to teach lessons, not to stay forever. You stop clinging to temporary emotions and start honoring long-term peace. You realize that love should add to your life, not consume it. And with this mindset, you attract partners who value your energy and match your maturity. Letting go gracefully also sets a powerful boundary for the future. It tells others that you won't beg to be chosen, that you honor your worth, even